Airgun reviews. In this week's episode, I'm going to be reviewing one of the best British handmade rifles ever to be made, in my opinion. It is the Ripley XL9. So I'm going to get it on the table and let's have a look at it. Right, so the Ripley XL9. This is my collection of Ripley rifles. I do have 2 or 3 of them. And I got this rifle back in 2018. Steve Wilkins made it for me over at Ripley. Now, I've known Steve for quite a few years. He made me my first ever AR5S when for my 21st birthday. That was from my granddad, actually. And when my granddad passed away, he obviously I had this rifle made to memorialize obviously his birth and his death, which I'll spin it around quickly. I'll show you. I've had that engraved there, his name and the date, year he was born and the year that he died. So that was very nice of Steve to be able to do that for me. So a little bit of history about Ripley is that Steve's been, it was Steve's dad, Joe, started making Ripley rifles way back in the 1980s, I believe. Then took over by Steve. They've always been built in Ripley in Derbyshire, in his little workshop. And they are literally all handmade from start to finish. So when you buy a Ripley, you get just the action only, which is obviously the action. Then you have to go and buy a stock, basically from Warren Edwards or Custom Stocks of Sheffield, and they'll make you a stock for your Ripley. They do, or I say they do, he did. Steve made 3 different versions. They made the AR5S, which is a single shot, which I'll do a review on the AR5S shortly. And they make an XL9, this is the XL9. This is a 9-shot rotary magazine. They also made an XL25, which was a 25-shot one, which had the rotary magazine, and then it had 2 inline feed magazines down the side of the rifle there to actually loaded the magazine as you cocked it. Now, these rifles it does say they fill up to 300 bar. I never fill them up to 300 bar, like I said to you. I know that some rifles can and everything, but I fill this up to 200 and I get about 90 shots in 177. And yeah, well, that's enough for anybody, isn't it, really? They make 3 different lengths of action as well. Now, this is a 17-inch action. They make a 15-inch action, and they also make a 19-inch action. So obviously the 19-inch action, you'll get a lot more shots out of it. This is basically, I would say, your standard action, and then the 15-inch action is your carbine version of it. They are, like I said, they are made from hand, all handmade from start to finish. Everything, they're fitted with Walther barrels. The silencers are handmade as well. The silencer actually it's a male insert. It's not screwed onto a 1/2 inch or from the rifle. It's actually into male onto this muzzle weight here. Now, on the target version of the AR5, this muzzle weight here actually becomes an air stripper. They put a cone in it, and it's got some slots in there to become an air stripper, which I'll get one of them as well, and I'll do another review on the target version of the AR5 as well, and the AR5S. I believe that they started, it might have been an AR3 and AR4. I've seen AR4s on Gun Trader before, and I've seen an AR5, then the AR5S, which I think the AR5S stands for Sporter. Now, Fred Carter made a video using an AR5S back in the early 2000s, and also Terry Doe used his AR5S on total airgun hunting. They are basically, I believe, the ultimate air rifle, and that's why I've got a collection of these, because obviously Steve ain't going to be making them forever and ever and ever. So if you ever come across one, I would highly recommend to get one. And you're going to see how smooth it is at cocking and how easy the action is and everything like that. They do a regulated version, so they are all regulated. These rifles, it's Steve's own regulator, which works really well. And they do an unregulated version, and the unregulated version is more for FAC. They go up to 50 foot-pounds, believe it or not, and you can turn it, adjust the power at the back there, so you can wind it up and down, a bit like what you would with an FX, but obviously it's on the back. It's not available on sub 12, obviously, but you can do that on FAC. So I don't, there's not really much else to say about this great rifle apart from I think it looks very sexy. They always have. It shoots like a dream, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's handmade in Britain by Steve Wilkins in his shed in his garden, basically, and it has they've always been made there. His dad obviously made them, doing the same sort of thing. So if you ever get a chance to have a go with one, you're not going to regret having a go. They are great rifles. I'm going to do a 30-yard pellet test now with the 3 tins. I'm going to use the JSBs, the QYS and the Bara 8s, and we're going to show you what kind of groups we get. It is slightly windy today, which you'll see from the windsock when I do this, but hopefully we'll get a good judge of accuracy at 30 yards. So yeah, let's get into the pellet test. Right, so we're going to do the 30-yard pellet test now. To load the XL magazine, it's different to other guns. So it's an older gun, and it's got a fixed rotary magazine. So I'm going to quickly show you how you load the rotary magazine, and then I'll put the gun back on the rack and we'll start doing some shooting. So you pull the bolt back, cock the bolt, flick the magazine open, which reveals this little rotary bit here. There's 9 slots. So you spin it round. And just obviously pop the pellets in one by one. Now I don't know how this would go on in today's obviously law and things, because it does state that you have to remove the magazine when travelling with rifles. You can't keep your magazine in whether it's loaded or not. Then that flicks in like that. Then obviously that's ready to go. You cock the gun, the mechanism inside spins it to the direct place you want to be at, put the bolt forward, and it's ready to go. Now there is no safety catch on this. I believe it did make some with safety catches, but there's no safety catch on these ones. So basically, if you keep it like that, it's not actually loaded because it's not cocked, because you'll hear it click when it cocks properly. So I'll get sat back down, we'll spin you around, and we'll do the 30-yard test. Right, so we'll do 5 shots with the QYS first. I'll load it with the QYS, so I'll have 5 shots at 30-yard with the QYS and see how we get on. Okay, now we'll swap over to JSBs and have 5 shots with JSBs. Right, so now we'll do the JSB at 30 yards and see what kind of grouping we get with that. Right, so we'll try the Barracuda 8s now and see what we do with that. For the Bara 8s. I think we've got a winner. Right, so we'll get a target back in and we'll show you the results. One more thing I forgot to mention about the XL9 is it is fitted with a 11mm dovetail mount, so you can pretty much fit as many, loads of different mounts if you want. It doesn't come with a Picatinny option. It is what it is. So the 30-yard results, not what I expected, because this gun is very accurate. I know it's quite windy today, but that's the results. Now, that's obviously the wind with the JSBs. I know that Bara 8's won. That's the tightest group in the wind, but obviously QYS, that's 3 shots through that hole there. So in my eyes, the QYS would have won. I hadn't had these 2 shots here. One thing that I probably should have done, it's my bad this as well, I probably should have took 5 or 6 shots, because I've recently discharged this gun before we started using it. So I should have took 5 or 6 shots just to get obviously the reg in tune, give it a few dry shots. And I didn't do that, so that's probably why I got these 2 shots. If I hadn't done that, then I believe these QSs probably would have been roughly around the same hole. But for this test, the Bara 8's one on a nice windy day down at the club. You know, it's just showing you a bit of what the accuracy is like. I would discard JSBs, although I know a lot of people shoot JSBs through Ripley's for the AR5Ss. I don't really know, but that's what the results we got today on a windy day. So the conclusion of this rifle for me is going to get a 9.5 out of 10 because I simply love it. It's been one of my favourite rifles right from being a young person, ever since watching Terry Doe and people like that, Fred Carter shooting these. It's handmade, it's British. One guy makes it all from start to finish, apart from your stock, which obviously, like I said, you can get from Custom Stocks Sheffield, or Warren Edwards makes some very nice stocks. I've got some Warren Edwards stocks in my other ones. But it is it's a hunting rifle designed for hunting, the XL9. I've had lots of hours of obviously sport with these rifles, the AR5S when I was growing up, and the XL9s. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the Ripley XL9. It's going to stay in my collection for a very, very long time, and I'll probably pass this one down to my kids. That's what caliber of rifle these ones are. So thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate you watching. If you liked it, please like, subscribe and share, and hit the notification button, that little bell. That'd be great. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.